Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our next series in our Home Express broker webinars. This is Andrea Formata. I'm the corporate trainer here at Home Express, and we're excited to have you with us today. Before we go ahead and get going, I will turn it over to Ray Medina, our SVP of Strategic Initiatives, to kick us off.
Yes, hello everybody, and thank you for joining again our webinar series. These webinars are geared towards providing you relevant market updates, as well as product information that will better equip you to capture more business. First, about us. Home Express started in 2015 as a specialized non-QM wholesale firm dedicated to serving mortgage brokers. The company was founded by former executives of Fremont Investment and Loan who truly understand non-traditional loans and are committed to serving borrowers and investors with unique situations that may prevent them from qualifying for a traditional agency or government loan. We're proud of our evolution from a humble startup company to one of the top 3 non-QM firms nationwide based on volume. Much of this growth is attributed to market demand for non-traditional products. However, we've also accelerated to the top of our peer group because of our no-nonsense underwriting approach, our industry-leading pricing, and our enterprise-wide focus on speed, ease, and convenience. Today, our presenter will be David Grider, who is our Senior VP of Wholesale Lending. He'll walk you through some of the unique characteristics of non-QM loans, and more importantly, how to use these non-traditional products to generate more business and better serve your communities. Without further ado, David Grider.
Hey, thank you, Ray. A couple of things. We got this disclaimer on here, and this webinar and recording and pages will be sent to everybody. And if you guys want requests from prior webinars as well, please request those out. They're going to have contact information at the end. We'll start with a welcome, and this one's kind of geared towards the self-employed, as the title is, and the options that self-employed borrowers have in non-QM. A little background on some of the self-employed statistics, all the programs out there to help these self-employed borrowers who don't fit traditional agency income qualifications. I learned a little bit on technology that's coming out and that we have present today and in the future. Hit our website and some contact information. So there we are. You see me, if you're on the screen there, I'm David Grider there, with CV Wholesale Lending. Picture of Andrea, our corporate trainer, and Ray, our Strategic Initiative Senior Vice President. So let's just go on, what is self-employed, right? So let's just take a look at that. It is 25% ownership in a business by definition. There's a lot of different things, Schedule C to these 1065s, 1120s, but you know, it could be a sole proprietorship, right? Having a DBA. Right? We have LLCs. We're talking about partnerships and a C Corp. Can be a 1099, independent contractor. It covers a lot. And as I go to the next slide, you're going to see some statistics on what is self-employed and how many. So I researched this through the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it came out, it's like 34% of the workforce today are self-employed. That doesn't mean that they're not W-2'd as well. They might have a side business with it. And I looked at the rising costs that we all know today, right? As you look around it and see all the news, right? We have inflation and all these different costs are going up. A lot of individuals looking at how can I keep my same standard of living or increase that given where they're at today. A lot of them look for side businesses to get on here, right? So in May of 2020, where research said that 44 million workers, or 28.2%, were self-employed at some point during a given week in 2019. I also wanted to point out on the income diversity, 22% of self-employed professionals have multiple revenue streams. How do you deal with that, right? And 11%, too, that are W-2 work for employer have side businesses. Another side is because how does COVID affect this, right? It's been an interesting 2 years, you know. I'm in California, and yesterday we have this mask mandate that comes out for everybody indoors, right? So yeah, we're walking around our office, we have our masks on down here in our office. But it's one where I was looking at it going, okay, let me get some stats on that, of how COVID's affected some of the self-employed to where we're at today. In April of 2020, on a survey, 42% of the self-employed say they're still feeling effects financially through their business of this COVID. Now I'm going to compare that to just a few months ago in August of 2021, only 8%, right? So there have been a lot of gains in that self-employed where they're back to doing normal business activities and their cash flows are coming back. And you'll see that's important when I go to the next slide of all the options for these self-employed borrowers, okay? I'm going to start out at the top, and we're going to work away counterclockwise for this. 12 or 24 month bank statements. Again, most of the loans that come in only have 12 months business bank statements. Why? There's no ad for 24 months, and we know if you go back, maybe there's a few months that might have some hiccups with COVID. So we just want to make sure the business is back with some type of normalized gross receipts coming in. But really, we're just analyzing the gross receipts of the business last 12 months, applying expense factor to it. It's typically 50%. You can use a tax calculator for a different expense factor, but this is huge. As you looked at that last statistics I gave you back in early 2020, if they were going to go traditional financing, right, through agencies, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, they would require 2 years tax returns. I would wonder what the 2020 tax returns look like. And again, we're coming up to 2021. What does their 2021 tax returns look like? And we got programs for that as well, but their cash flow is back. And 2020 was a big movement for lower rates that you've seen, right? They're drying up now. You see how the rates starting to tick up from the news yesterday, that these individuals, these self-employed borrowers have been out of the market for new purchases, refinancing, getting the lower rate. We can help them. You can help them, right? But I looked at the past webinar we did last month was how to source non-QM loans. That was financial planners, CPAs, right? They're going to them. Your referral network. How many loans that you looked at in the last 2 years are self-employed? You sent in doing a jumbo prime loan and it got denied because of the tax returns writing too much off. They can qualify for these now, right? So that's really good news for you on increasing your volume and your lending going into 2022. As I go to asset programs, we do have asset and full asset depletion type of programs available. So maybe they're a little bit short on their 12-month bank statement cash flow, but a lot of these individuals are heavy in cash or stocks, or they invested because the stock market went up. We can then utilize that to a system to help them, their ability to repay that calculation. Got 1099. I'm going to tell you a personal story about 1099. My wife works in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, e-commerce, IT world, and she was looking at this. People come back to work, so how they do the new hires that have to work in the office. They took the stance on some of the new hires, and you want to work in the office, you're W-2. If you want to work at home, you're 1099. What are you going to do with that borrower that now is 1099 working from home with that employer? We got solutions for you on that. Okay, so they go from W-2, 1099, same line of work. We have a lot of options for you. We also have programs where you don't have to look at the full tax return. We can do K-1s only. Look at the box 1, right? So you're not bringing in all these different things that might calculate. It could be a 1-year K-1 as you're going into 2022 that will work. We also have P&L only programs. We have a lot of different borrowers out there, different structures, how they deposit their cash flow. We might have to have a CPA get that for us, and we're fine with a P&L only. And then we also have some 3-month programs on the bank statements, on the gross receipts, to make kind of the P&L. That's fine. We do 90% on a purchase on that, up to $1.5 million. Some great stuff. And again, I want to put out that 1-year tax return as you're going in 2022. That fits non-QM, and the rate spread on our first webinar you see has gone down. From 2015, I was looking at the spreads in 2016. From QM to non-QM was 300 basis points, maybe 400 basis points. That spread is a lot different. The rates right now for lower LTVs, higher FICOs and non-QM start in the low 3s or mid 3s, 30-year fix. So it's not a big spread where you're able to sell that and sell the benefit of them locking in a nice 30-year fixed interest rate right now. The rates going up, right? Utilizing bank statements, right? Or a purchase. They've been out of the market. They want to get into this, maybe move from an urban area to more of a suburban area, and they've been closed out of the market. There's so many opportunities for you. Now, when I have this on the board here, you do not have to be an expert on these. I recommend everyone, you need to get with a good non-QM account executive that's with a good company that understands this, that knows how to close these loans for you, and timely, right? And hopefully we prove to you that we're that type of a company, but ultimately we're here to help those that are not getting done through their traditional financing. We need to help those borrowers that have been locked out of this segment. And this market in non-QM is going to double or triple in 2022. So grab your share, right? We're the experts at this. Your account executive's the expert at how to structure this loan. Okay, with that, I want to talk a little bit about technology that Home Express has, and that's some other companies are coming out with. We have an XConnect broker portal. We don't want you sending all these bank statements, credit reports through email. This is non-public information. We need to protect these borrowers. We have a portal system through a registration where on your desktop, you have a login, automatically gets registered in there through your bank statements or credit report for us to review and pre-grade. So I see it's on the income desk. That's where their income desk is. So you don't have to be an expert on that. You're going to know through our underwriting system within 24 hours or before you submit it, before you go and pre-pull that to the real estate agent for that new purchase, what income we can use. It's very fast, it's very efficient, and it's very much a safer way to go than emailing all these PDFs and all these banks. Use the technology today, and everything is done on this. It's live 24/7. You'll see the live conditions. You'll see where your approval's at as it walks through the life of the loan. Ultimately, it gets funded. Next, we'll kind of just take, I think, some questions here we have on that, and I think there's already a few already kind of launched in here, but if you guys have some questions on self-employed borrowers program, non-QM in general, we're here to answer those for you.
Yep, David. We do have a couple of questions. Let me just get to them. The first question is, how many NSFs can you have?
Great question, because we've seen that, and it's kind of weird back here. It's like there's a lot of different accounting methods that some of these self-employed borrowers. I've actually had some of the past 4 years that, hey, they had a lot of NSFs middle of the month because they thought it was cheaper before their accounts receivables hit, right? But really, it could be unlimited NSFs as long as their housing history is paid as agreed. Other than that, it's 6 months and 6 NSFs in the last 12 months. But it could be unlimited. We ignore that because it's based on their credit. Somehow that's their accounting method and their housing is paid. That's a big advantage when you're looking at these.
Great, thank you. Next one. When do you order the 4506?
Well, that's the good news here, right? There is a couple 4506 we do. If you do a K1 only, would be a 4506. But there is no 4506 on bank statements or those type of loans. We're just going by the cash flow of this business. Yeah, we have to ascertain what the business receipts are and understand the business. But there's no 4506. Another advantage of non-QM. They close fast that way.
Great, thank you. Do you allow 2 or more business bank statements? What if they have 2 separate businesses?
Great question. Yes, we do. Remember we talked about all these side gigs that people have and are actually getting into probably the next year or two as inflation and all these extra costs. We do have programs for multiple business streams, multiple income things. So we can analyze for you and get these loans funded.
On the bank statements, does it have to be from a business checking account?
We take both personal and business, and we kind of separate it. If you have a personal bank statements, we do 100% of the qualified deposits, and your account executive will go over this with you. As long as they have a separate business account, that's fine. If they use their business for their business, then we treat that personal account as a business, right? So they're paying all their business expenses from it and all their gross receipts, but does not necessarily have to be.
Great, thanks. Do we have any foreign national programs?
Yes. Now, there's a few foreign national programs out there. And what I say by that is, what's a true foreign national? Someone's not a U.S. citizen. Now, if they're here as a permanent resident alien, qualify for all the programs, including bank statements, right? Maybe they're here on a work visa. That could be a separate program there. When I look at foreign national with us, they live and work outside of the United States. Yes, we have programs for those borrowers as well that want to invest in American real estate.
Great, thank you. Is there a minimum credit score?
Right now, we have a minimum credit score of 600 on our alternative documentation type. So 600 score to get you in. We use bank statements, multiple streams of income, you're fine.
Can I do a second home or investment property?
The answer is yes. You can see a lot of yeses here because it's really non-QM is why. As long as we understand the loan, we can get a good feel for the income or cash flow, you can qualify for primary, second home, or investment products.
The client has been self-employed for 1 year, but has been in that line of work for 12 years. Does that person qualify?
Possibly, right? We do have programs which we call a 12-month cash flow, and they're primarily for the professional type that, I'll give you an example. A Dr. Kaiser, we've actually funded those, that's W-2, right? Then they go off to their private practice to start, and that might be, maybe 15 months of the self-employment. You can see the first few months, they're starting up their expenses and that, then they're getting their client base over that's coming over. We do have a 12-month cash flow based on that type of borrower off the last one, so less than 2 years self-employed that we could document.
What about payments from Zelle or Venmo?
Good. Another great question. Maybe, it is huge, the different payment streams and different ways you can collect gross receipts from a business. Yes, we'll use Zelle or Venmo. Again, it's just, how do you explain it? And our account executives are great at trying to explain that so it goes through our income desk properly. Hey, this borrower sells us stuff, uses Zelle to collect their business receipt. Fine with that. Venmo's fine. PayPal is fine. As long as we can get it clear, we've got 12 months of it, we understand it, and your account executives will help structure that deal for you to get that closed. But that answer is yes.
Great. Looks like that's all that we have.
Well, great.
Let's go ahead.
I hope this is helpful. Before we get to Home Express, just happy holidays. This has been an interesting 2 years for all of us, from COVID hitting, coming out right away. We're one of the first coming out of COVID offering these products, trying to understand it. That's what we kind of understand when we first came back in June 2019, looking, what are these self-employers looking at? How's their cash flow being affected? We're experienced at this and understand it and know how they perform. These loans perform very well, right? Non-QM is just saying it doesn't qualify for the Fannie or Freddie product. But these are good loans, good people we need to help out. And this market has been underserved because their cash flow has not been there from end of 2000 and first part of 2020, where they don't qualify for traditional financing. But we can with great rates, great LTVs, and great programs. We want you to capture that. So here's our website. We had it up there. If you want to submit a scenario on there, you want to sign up with us, or get just more information on non-QM or programs in general, please let us know. Here's my contact information, DaveRyder@homexmortgage.com, my phone number. Write it down. I'll call every one of you back. It might not be, within the next hour, but it will be sometime today. So with that, I'll hand it over to Ray for some closing comments.
Yes, thank you, David. And I hope everyone has a better understanding of non-QM loans for self-employed and how it can apply to your customer base. As mentioned earlier, these webinars occur monthly, so feel free to join us each month and invite any colleagues who you think can benefit from these information sessions. I'd like to thank all of our loyal customers who continue to use Home Express as a primary non-QM lender. And we humbly invite those of you who are not currently partnering with us to join us. To learn more or to apply, please visit our website at www.homexmortgage.com. I too wish all of you a great holiday season, and thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for joining. As we mentioned, you will receive a copy of the deck shortly. So thank you so much. Happy holidays. We'll see you next year. Bye-bye.